guys, welcome back to my channel. So I did a thing. I went back on my word and I ordered from Oden's Eye. I couldn't resist. The two new releases that they had, I mean, they've been just like smashing it. I can't like lie about that. All of their palettes, I would say the last 9 months, have looked amazing. But I've always had this niggling feeling that I wouldn't like the formula because I have 3 Oden's Eye palettes already and I'm not that impressed. And you know, everybody raves about Oden's Eye and I'm like, why do you rave about it? But I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. I just had to go and do it and figure out for myself if I actually I'm gonna eat my words or if I'm right. So I did go and buy a palette from Oden's Eye. I didn't buy like the full collection. I didn't buy, you know, tons of stuff. I just bought one palette because I did not want to regret my purchase, and if I was going to regret something, it was just going to be on the palette alone. So they came out with their Jewels and Gem palettes, right? They got the Stone and Rock palette and the Jewels and Gem. And I almost bought both of them, I really did, but I have already worked so much on some green shadows this year alone that I decided just to go with the Jewels and Gem. I just thought, for this time, I just thought, do I really need another green palette at this point? No. I mean, do I need this palette? Absolutely not, but I wanted to get it, so I got it. So yeah, it's absolutely stunning. I mean, even the packaging alone is just so beautiful. It came out, what, like a month ago or something like that, and I just thought, oh, do I really want to put myself through this? Am I going to be disappointed? Let's just do it, you know? I mean, I just went ahead and did it. So this one is a cool tone palette, and I really like that. I don't know, I like cool tone, I like warm tone. I just didn't feel like I wanted another green palette, so I ended up getting this one, which I just think has a lot of versatility to it. It's a lot more interesting than the other one, although the other one looks just so beautiful, and maybe I'll go and get that one too, just because the packaging alone is gorgeous. But I thought this color story just spoke to me a little bit more for now. It's a little bit more interesting at this point, just based on what I already have. Now, I already have a lot of cool tone purples and everything like that, but there are some other shades. I mean, you've got some blues, you've got this one kind of green shade here, so it's a little bit interesting, and I just thought, oh, let's just do it. Let's see if I've been talking absolute rubbish for the last year, because for the last year I've literally been trashing Oden's Eye, saying I don't like it, I don't know why people like it, and I might be saying the same thing after trying this. This is my first impressions, never tried it, just opening it up, haven't swatched it or anything. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm excited. I've been holding off. I've had this for like a week now, and my parents have finally gone back to the UK, and I'm trying to get back into the swing of things, so I thought, okay, let me just film the video, because I didn't want to do it while they were here. I just wanted to focus on just being present and with them and not filming for YouTube as much. So let's do this. Let me just take some photos of it, because it is absolutely stunning, and then I will start. I've got a little bit of makeup on, I've got some foundation on, concealer, bronzer, yeah, that's it, but like nothing else. So we're just going to go into this blind. I haven't seen any reviews on it, but you know, anyone who reviews Oden's Eye, I feel like they're always bigging it up and saying how amazing they are. So because most of the time they're all biased, or I'm just like in the minority and I don't agree with anybody. So let's see. I haven't really even looked at looks that people have done. I'm just going to go in and see what I want to do. So I will put up on the screen some swatches on my arm. I'll do some swatches later on so you can have a look and see what it looks like. But yeah, I mean, it's a really beautiful color story. You know, they have so many beautiful palettes and beautiful color stories that they've released. I almost went back and bought one of the older palettes that came out last year, but I thought, no, I'm not going to do it. Let's just go for a new one, see if I like it before I start splashing out. All right, so I'm going to do a little bit of a base because I do want to make sure that I give this the attention that it deserves. So I will go in. This is just my Beauty Bay eye base. I actually kind of like it. I do have another eye base that I haven't tried, which is from what are they from? Gloss Gods. I've got that in that bundle, and I haven't tried it yet, which I probably should, but I just figured, well, you know, I've got loads of this one left. Why do I want to open up another one if I have this one to finish? So we'll just go in. I want to make sure that you know, I give the shimmers what they need. I might go in with the NYX glitter glue at some point, I'm not sure. I think the thing that I've always had with Oden's Eye is their shimmers are very glittery, and even, you know, I had a highlighter from them and I thought it was very glittery, and I don't really like that, or at least I didn't at the time, especially with the highlighter. I didn't like it. And I just found that their shades, like I had the Alva, I had the Mini Ocean, and I had the Verdandi one. I got them all in the mystery box last year, and I would have bought the Alva myself, but I wouldn't have bought the other two. They just weren't color stories that I particularly gravitated towards. However, I do think that the Verdandi has a really, really nice quality compared to the other two. The Mini Ocean's a little bit iffy. Some of the shades are nice, some of them aren't. And then the Alva was just a huge disappointment in my mind. However, there are still beautiful shades inside the palette. So when I sort of just concentrate on a few shades at a time, I kind of realized that it's not the worst palette in the world. I think the reason why I've been so critical about Oden's Eye is because the hype has been so high. So obviously my expectations are super high, and when the formula doesn't surpass my expectations or reach them or even match any of that I'm expecting, I'm like, what is everyone talking about? But, you know, I kind of have been just, you know, let me get over myself. I'm not right all the time. Most of the time I'm completely wrong. Maybe there is a reason why people love it. So, and everyone's been telling me to try it again. I'm going to like the newer formula. So we're going to do it. I mean, this is the newest palettes that they've released recently. They're releasing a lot of palettes. So I don't know, by the time you see this video, they might even have a new palette released. They're coming out with so many palettes now, which is great. I mean, obviously they're getting more money and everything like that, which is always good for indie brands. So I do like the brand. I just wish that I liked the quality more. Like I would love Oden's Eye. I would love it if I loved it, but I have to start loving it first. Okay, so enough talking. Let's go into this. Gosh, I don't even know what to do. I don't know what to do. Like, it definitely is like a grungy green. I could go green. I buy this and I do a green shade. Look, that would be really kind of odd. I kind of want to go into these bluer shades and maybe the pinks. Okay, I'm going to go in with Ecstasy right here, just to start off, and we'll see. Okay, very powdery matte shade. Ooh, this is a pretty color. This is much more purple than I anticipated. I didn't realize it was going to be this purple. Didn't look this purple in the pan, but it's a pretty shade. I do like this. It's like a muted lilac shade. I do like that. I don't know if you can even tell, but it's kind of dusty. It's like a dusty lilac, and I don't mind that. So I'm just going to go in and we're going to work our way through the palette. Not entirely sure what I'm doing, but just want to be relaxed about it. A lot of kick up, tons of kick up. I don't really care about that, but some people don't like that. So okay, so that was fine. I'm gonna go in with Transition. I actually really want to use this shade. I don't know why, but it's calling me, and I'm expecting it to be super dark. It's like a dusty teal shade. I'm just gonna knock it off because it is so powdery. I feel like this is gonna go all over my face. So yeah, there is tons of kick up. I don't record the Alva or the other ones. I don't think they have as much kick up. I think I might go in with the other shade, which is Rapture, which is more of a purple one. I'm just gonna go in with that one, just have a look, play around. Again, tons of kick up on here. It's a pretty shade. So one's more of a dusty purple, and the other one's more of a dusty blue. I'm just going to swatch Gorgeousness, just see what that is. That is interesting. That is an interesting shade. And then there's also Rhapsody, which looks like, ooh, that looks like very interesting. That is a completely different shade to what it looks like in the pan. I've just swatched these two, and this is Rhapsody, which actually doesn't look anything like that in the pan. It's got like a pink to it. The Gorgeousness one, I think I might go into that one just for now. It feels a little bit dry on my finger, but I kind of like, it has like a yellow to it. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to go in with this one just to have a play around, see how this is. But you can see they're very glittery. Yeah, this one's super dry. The other one didn't feel as dry. This one does feel pretty dry to the touch. It does look pretty. It has like an undertone, like a gray undertone with a yellow. It's kind of interesting. They work nicely together. Yeah, you can see it's kind of stained my finger. All right, I'm gonna go in with Paradise, which is here. This is a dark shimmer. We're just gonna go in the outer. This one doesn't feel, actually it feels kind of the same. This one's super dark. I'm just gonna put it over here just to get a little bit more depth. Can you see that? It's quite pretty. I'm going quite dramatic. I have to be careful because I do have work to do today, and I have to be on a call, so I don't want to go super crazy. I want to be a little bit more work friendly, but I do want to keep going. So let me just test out Swoon. Ooh, Swoon is beautiful. So that would be a really, yeah, that's kind of stunning. I would absolutely replace what I already have on my lid with that one. And then there's Elatedness, which is like this one right here, which is Swoon, is very soft. But then this one, Elatedness, which is this pink up here, is kind of rough to the touch. This one's actually soft. So they do have different types of feeling. This is just a beaut. This would be a really nice inner corner, I think. And then this one, I have to go in with this one. Oh yeah, this is a beautiful shade. I am going to swoon over this shade for sure. I am covering the other shade that I used, so I kind of changed it. But you know what? This has got a flip of orange. This is quite interesting. You see, this type of shade I do like. This is not flaky, and this is like a metallic. It's not super glittery. I feel like the other shimmers I've tried so far have all been a little bit gritty and a little bit glittery, whereas this one is the only one that has been soft to the touch so far. That's pretty. That's different. It's different, right? I'm going to go in with Elatedness and just put that in the inner there. Just lighten that all up. I'm obviously not using a brush with all this. I probably should have, because it's hard to get in there. Alright, that is what I've done so far. I don't know if you can see, but that Swoon shade is special. That's definitely a special shade. You can see there's a little bit of glitter down here, but I don't mind it. Alright, I think I'm going to just put some concealer here. Brighten under here, and then I might just leave it as that and put some mascara on, and I'll come back. Alright, I am back. So I only put mascara on. I didn't do anything else. I thought about putting something underneath, but my mascara is such a mess. Don't look at it. I'm happy. I'm happy. I think this is okay. I think this is okay. I'm not super disappointed at all. I think actually this is a really beautiful palette, and I do want to dip into these colors more and just see what those are all about. So definitely we'll be playing around with this, because I think this quad right here would be actually really interesting to do a look with. So that excites me. I think the thing is, so apart from this one, yeah, this one feels a bit gritty. This one, okay, so here's the thing. I don't think that I am the biggest fan of Oden's Eye shimmers. I just think that is how it is. However, I do like the colors. I think they're beautiful. I just don't think that they're the best quality, in my opinion. I think there are other brands out there that I prefer the shimmers about. And when it comes to eyeshadow, shimmer is the way for me to be impressed by an eyeshadow palette. I feel like it's very hard to go wrong with mattes. Now trust me, brands do it all the time. There's always dud shades, matte shades that don't blend or just have no pigment whatsoever. Yeah, I hear you, absolutely. But I've never had a problem with Oden's Eye matte shades at all. It's always been the shimmers. I've always felt that they weren't what I expected them to be. Now, with this palette, I think the only one that I really enjoy the quality is this Swoon shade right here. I think it's so reflective, it's soft to the touch, and I don't know, for me, I just prefer that type of shimmer metallic. The rest are still really beautiful, but they're a little gritty. They're a little like stiff or a little bit drier. And it doesn't necessarily change the way that they all look on the lids, because obviously you can make them super impactful by using glitter glue or whatever else. But, or, you know, setting spray, whatever you want to use to maximize the impact of the shade. I just didn't do that today because I like to just test out and see how they are as standalone shades. And just swatching all of these shimmers so far, this one is the only one that's super, super soft and lovely and creamy, and that's the type of shimmer that I like. Now that's just a preference, you know, that has really nothing to do with anything bad about the brand whatsoever or the formula whatsoever. It's just my personal preference, and maybe that's where I've always been like, oh, you know, because some of their the palettes that I have those beautiful shimmers that I'm talking about, but then they also have the slightly more gritty, glittery shimmers that I'm not a huge fan of, and I think that's just what it is. And I think that's the reason why I've never tried Pat McGrath shimmers either, because I've tested them out, you know. I went to Sephora, I swatched some of them, and they just felt a little bit gritty, and that's just, even if they're absolutely gorgeous on the lids, for whatever reason, I prefer a creamier formula. I don't know whether it's how it looks on my lids or not, but it's just a preference of mine. So anyway, back to this one. I think this is a beautiful palette, and I think if you already like Oden's Eye, then you'll love this palette. I can't fault it at any point. Can I say this is a bad palette? Because it absolutely is not. Is it my favorite formula when it comes to eyeshadow? It's not. And I just need to accept that. But I'm actually happy that I have it. I don't regret getting it at all, because I think the color story is really special, and the shade is really special. And don't get me wrong, these two shades were also really beautiful and special. And maybe the more I use the shades, the creamier they'll get. It might be the top layer. Maybe that's a thing as well. The mattes are fine. I mean, I only used, what, 3 mattes, but they were fine. They had a lot of pigment to them. They have kick up, but I don't really care about that. So yeah, in terms of the palette itself, super happy. I think it's really, really stunning as well. I'm happy that I didn't get the other one, because I do feel like it would have been too much, and I'm just getting too many palettes at this point. I bought a lot of palettes in the last couple months, so I don't need to be buying extra. And I'm happy that I just got this one, because I do think it adds something different to my collection. I just don't have a color story like this. I have mauves and purples, and I mean, I have these grungy greens in the corner here, but I don't know, it has these dusty blues, which are really interesting. I don't know, I think it's an interesting color story, and I'm really happy that I got it. And it is stunning, it's beautiful, and I don't dislike it. I just think first impressions are, maybe I just don't really care for those grittier, glittery shimmers that Oden Eye has, whereas a lot of people love that, and that's fine too. I don't, you know, care what you like. So yeah. So anyway, I'll be still playing with this palette. Obviously, I haven't used all the shades, so I do want to do multiple looks with that. I just didn't want to do a 3-look one video for this particular palette, because I have to be honest, my videos where I do 3 looks, they just don't do well. So I'm just gonna stop doing them. They do the worst on my channel, and I know everyone's like, I love those videos, and when I do the polls, I get loads of people voting for which palette that they want me to do it with, but I have to say, they just do not do well. So, and it takes a lot of effort on my side, because I got to do the 3 different looks, then I got to put them all together, do a little time lapse, and then I have to do a voiceover, and I just think, it is a little bit more effort than I feel like doing. I have enjoyed doing them, but I also, part of the enjoyment is if they do well. They don't do well, so I didn't do 3 looks, but if you want me to, I might consider doing that for this one. I just don't think it would be that interesting. I could do a blue look, I could do a green one, and then more of a real purple one. I kind of just did what I wanted to do today, which was, I guess, lean into more purple, but then you've got this. I mean, this swoon is so special because it has this orange flip, which I really do enjoy. So yeah, really nice palette. First impressions, it's good. not my favorite, but it is good. And I will try not to diss Oden's Eye too much because I do think they're good. They're just not my number one in terms of formula, and that's just what it is. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.